Thank you, Commissioner Sankey. Great to be back here at SEC Media Day for my 5th season, and excited to be here for day one and kick off the week. I say it every year, and I'll never stop. I'm so grateful for the position that I'm in as a head football coach in the Southeastern Conference. This league is the standard across all of college athletics, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it as well. You see that every year on the field, and you see that every April in the NFL draft as well. Players want to play in this league. Coaches want to coach in this league. All you have to do is look at the Netflix special that I know is coming out later this year. They chose this league to showcase as well, and obviously had other conferences that would have loved to have been a part of it. They wanted us, and I think that speaks volumes about the power of this league. Thankful for Commissioner Sankey. Admired him from afar before I got into this conference and the role that I'm in right now, and admire him even more now that I've been in this league 5 years. Always will be grateful for his leadership back in 2020 that allowed us to have a college football season, and very glad that he is leading us in this new era of college athletics. And then thanks to all you for all you do to promote our game. I know you make a lot of sacrifices as well throughout the year, so grateful for you guys, and thanks to the SEC staff for putting on such a awesome event every single year when we come here to this as well. Real quickly before I get started on anything football-wise, just wanted to send my prayers to the family of Joe Moner. Joe was the athletic director at Hilton Head High School in Hilton Head, South Carolina, that died last week tragically and unexpectedly. Has 2 beautiful daughters. Oldest daughter, Ava, just graduated from South Carolina in May, and as you can imagine, that family's going through a lot right now, and we're certainly thinking of them. South Carolina is a special state. It's a small state. It's a very close-knit state, and I know that Hilton Head High School community. I've been there for a football game on a Friday night, and it's a special community, and know they're hurting right now, so thankful for them. And I see the sign over there, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Bob Holt, because I know every year that I've been here at SEC Media Day, I could always count on him sitting right there in the front row, and certainly miss having him here. I was never a part of any team that he covered, but I know what he meant to the SEC, and certainly miss Bob as well. You guys will learn more about our players if you haven't already, but the 3 that are here with me today, Norris, DQ Smith, and Nick Barrett, embody everything that we want our program to be about. They embody everything that college athletics is about, in my mind, in 2025. All had different stories, unique stories. None of them were your 5-star recruit that everybody talks about that comes to the school and has a great career. These are all guys that weren't maybe as highly recruited as they should have been, but they've come to South Carolina, they've developed, and they are leaders on our team. Their voices matter on our team, and that's why they're here today. They love the University of South Carolina, and putting on a Gamecock uniform means something to them without a doubt. Nick Barrett is a North Carolina native. He was committed to the University of South Carolina when I got hired as the head coach. He stayed committed, and he came. He's unselfish. Last season would have been his last season, but he came to us early in the season and brought up the idea of redshirting, being able to play in 4 games. He knew we were loaded at defensive tackle last season and really wanted to maximize his last year at Carolina, and redshirted. We used him in select games last season. Now he's back, and he's a leader on that defensive line for us. He's a great example of what we're trying to do from a recruiting standpoint. Early in my tenure at South Carolina, we only had 1 player from the state of North Carolina on our team, and it was Nick, and that was ridiculous. To be a border state, so many players in the state of North Carolina that want to come across state lines and play SEC football, we knew we needed to attack the state of North Carolina harder in recruiting, and we absolutely have since then. Guys that are on our team right now and guys that are committed to come play for us next season as well. Nick's doing right off the field. He's a 4-time SEC academic honor roll and just graduated in May. DQ Smith, Columbia, South Carolina native, high school quarterback. When people talk, or when we talk to high school prospects, they all say they want to be developed when when they come to college. Well, DQ is a guy that has been developed. He came to South Carolina, wasn't highly recruited. I think we had to beat out Georgia Southern for him. He was a high school quarterback, came here by game 3. He was starting for us as a true freshman, high character guy, and has been a key player for us on defense and special teams. He'll graduate in December. And then obviously Norris, returning captain as voted on by his teammates, our returning MVP as voted on by his teammates. Last season, he was playing as well as any quarterback in the nation the last month of the season, doing great off the field, has been on the dean's list twice, currently doing an internship with contract construction in Columbia for his major as well. His best football is still in front of him. When you look at our team offensively, we offensively have a new offensive coordinator in Mike Shula. That was an easy decision for me to promote Mike to be the coordinator. He was a part of our program last year. He's literally been in the shoes that Norris is in as he was a starting quarterback in this conference, and he's been in the shoes that I'm in as a head football coach in this conference as well. He's already made us better as an offense on and off the field. When you look at us, we've got to replace the interior of our offensive line and a lot of playmakers at the running back and tight end position. But I'm excited about the potential of the guys returning and how we take the next step as an offense under Coach Shula. Defensively, it's year 5 with Clayton White as our defensive coordinator. He's done a remarkable job in the 4 seasons leading our defense. It's great to have him back and our entire defensive staff back around him as well. We've got to continue to be opportunistic as a defense. We've led the SEC in takeaways since 2021, and we've got to continue to be that group. We played great defense last season, but we've lost a lot of production, particularly right up the middle of our defense at defensive tackle, linebacker, and safety. But the group that we return is very athletic and really excited about the potential of the next group of guys to make their impact on our defense. And then in special teams, this will be my 26th year in coaching coming up, and I don't believe I've ever been a part of a team that has to replace literally every key part of their special teams units like we do this season. We'll have a new punter, we'll have a new place kicker, we'll have a new kickoff guy, we'll have a new holder, we'll have a new snapper, we'll have a new punt returner, and we'll have a new kickoff returner. So that is, we've been very spoiled. Every punt that we've punted the football at South Carolina since I've been the head coach, Kai Kroger has punted the ball. So the first time we punt, and hopefully that won't be anytime soon, we'll have a new punter out there as well. But those are guys that are young and talented, and excited to see what we do in year 2 under Joe DeCamillis as our special teams coordinator. We've got to continue to be aggressive and opportunistic there. We've led the SEC in block kicks since 2021. We've got a strong culture in Columbia on and off the field. That's evident with what we're doing academically with the #2 graduation success rate in the SEC. Currently, when we kick off in 48 days back here in Atlanta, we'll have 19 players on our team that have already graduated from the University of South Carolina. When we play postseason football in December, that number will be 31 players that will be graduates of the University of South Carolina. Last semester, we had 31 players make the dean's list, and the last 2 semesters have been the best semesters academically in the history of the South Carolina football program. Not since I've been the head coach, in the history of the program. So last fall, we set a record for our team GPA, and then our mantra as a team in 2025 is to take things farther on and off the field than what we did in 24, and we did that by shattering the record that we set in December. We shattered it in the spring with the spring semester as well. Recruiting has gone well in the last few years, and it's going well right now. There's a lot of expectations for 25, and there should be, but we're built for years to come and are going to continue to be good at South Carolina. We're not going anywhere. There's a lot of young talent on our team, and there's more coming. It's a great place to recruit, too. When you talk about the academics in Columbia, the beautiful campus that we have, a capital city, a fantastic place to live, the best fan base in all of America, the upcoming stadium improvements to Williams-Brice stadium that are going to take place. We'll start on that after this upcoming season. We'll start on those improvements, and that'll be a 3-year project to make what already is, in my mind, the best atmosphere in all of college football even better. And then just the leadership that we have in our administration, an awesome president in Michael Amaritas, great board chairman in Thad Westbrook. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Ray Tanner for all he did for the University of South Carolina and for me as our athletic director. Wish him well in retirement, but really fired up for the future with our new athletic director, Jeremiah Donati, and then our deputy athletic director, Jeff Crane, both of which have been hired since the last time I was here last July. But those guys are energetic, forward-thinking, and determined to take South Carolina athletics to the next level. And there's a lot of excitement in Columbia right now. Playing in this league, you know every year the schedule is going to be tough. That's a great schedule that we get to play in this league. As a competitor, you want to compete against the best, and that's what we do in the Southeastern Conference. It's great hearing from other players when they transfer into our place, and they talk about how different our place is from where they came from in regards to the culture. You know, you hear a lot of negatives about college athletics right now, but there's so many positives in college athletics right now. There's so many positives in college football, and there's so many positives at South Carolina. I used this expression last year, and I'll use it again, but there's a saying, if you can't have fun at work, you got a bad job. Well, I absolutely love what I get to do every single day, and I have a great, great job in Columbia. There's no doubt about it. Top players, they didn't come to South Carolina. The top players on our team didn't stay at South Carolina to be average. There's a championship mindset, and like I said a minute ago, our whole mantra in 2025 is to take things farther in 25 than what we did in 24. I think the pride in Gamecock athletics is at an all-time high. The number of people that stop me on the street or in an airport when I'm traveling and want to talk about South Carolina athletics is higher than it's ever been. We're going to set a record this season for new season tickets sold at Williams-Brice Stadium. Booster Club memberships to our Gamecock Club, those memberships are on pace for an all-time high, and then we have already doubled this year our previous record for philanthropic giving to the University of South Carolina Athletic Department. So 48 days until we're back here in Atlanta. Cannot wait to kick things off against Virginia Tech in the AFLAC kickoff game. Anything that Gary Stokin and his team with the Peach Bowl touch is going to be first class, and we could not be more fortunate to be playing in such a great event that they put on the AFLAC kickoff game as well. The expectations at our place is to compete for the playoff each and every year and not just be bowl eligible. That's what we're working towards each and every day. That's what our guys have done since January when they came back, is to take things farther in 2025, and eager to kick things off here soon when we crank things up. With that, any questions?
Thank you, Coach Beamer. If you have a question, raise your hand. Emma, Anna, and Nathan will get to you. If, again, can stand as you're able to stand, give your name and affiliation. We're going to start right here in the center aisle with Mike.
Coach, Mike Griffith, Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Mike, you walked in late and you get the first question?
No, I've been here. I circled back just for you, Shane.
All right, appreciate you, buddy.
Good stuff. College football playoff has obviously been discussed quite a bit, and South Carolina was on the brink, or maybe should have been in even, arguably. How important do you think it is that these playoffs get expanded, and what are your thoughts about the 8 versus 9 game schedule, considering your annual rivalry against Clemson?
Yeah, I'm all for expansion to give more teams opportunities. I want to make sure we have the greatest regular season in any sport in college athletics, in my opinion, because every regular season game means something. So you want to make sure that the regular season doesn't lose meaning, and confident that it won't if we expand. It'll still make a lot more games meaningful in the month of November in my mind, and then gives more teams opportunities to go compete for a championship, which is what anybody wants. I mean, we went into the last weekend last year against Clemson, Thanksgiving weekend, and not just us, but there were a lot of teams across the country that felt they still had an opportunity to get into that 12-team playoff. So I'm all for it. In regards to the 8 and the 9 game, competition is a core value of our program. So I'm never going to shy away from competition. I just said that we have a schedule that we get to play. But we also get to play Clemson every season as well. And that's a non-conference rival that we have that not every school in this league has. Florida plays a non-conference rival from another conference. Georgia does as well, and then Kentucky does. But I think we're the only ones. And I know everyone is going to play a Power 4, Power 5, whatever it's called now, team in the regular season typically. But in my mind, we're already playing 9 conference games. And then if we go to 9, we're now playing 10 conference games. And then we've also got future schedules with Miami on it, Virginia Tech this year, North Carolina State. So I'm all for competition, but I want to make sure that the other teams in this league aren't playing 9 SEC games and then playing 3, whatever you want to call them, games that they should win, because that's not very smart as the head coach of South Carolina to be doing that if that's what the other teams in this league aren't doing.
Coach, we're going to go straight in front of me, about 4 rows back.
Coach, Ryan Spyro, Texas Sports Network. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you?
Good. You mentioned that your mantra this season is to move forward and continue going further than you did last year. And you did that this offseason by producing another top 25 recruiting class. How are you guys going to put that into action on the field this year?
Yeah, just continue to develop. I think after every season, I'm no different than any other coach. You look back at, the things you did well the previous season, the things you didn't do well the previous season, and figure out how you're going to improve and be better. And we did a lot of good last season, but there's a lot that we need to be better at offensively, defensively, and special teams. So we go to work at doing that. We go to work developing our roster, and then just realizing that every year it's a brand new year, now more so than any other. I mean, there's going to be guys here this week at SEC Media Day representing their teams that have never played a game in the SEC. And that's not a negative. I'm not knocking them, but it's just a point, making the point that people's rosters are completely different every single season, and we'll be picked higher this week than what we were last year when y'all did the picks in Dallas, just because we won 9 games and we bring back our quarterback. But also understanding that none of that matters, because every year is a new year. There's a lot of new faces all across the SEC, and for us it's just continue to work and just let's continue to try and get better and take this thing farther in 25.
Coach, we'll go down the center aisle about 3/4 of the way back.
Hey Shane, Ben Portnoy, Sports Business Journal. You alluded to some of the changes.
You had a big summer, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm still wiggling with the ring a little bit. But you alluded to some of the bigger changes in college sports right now. And when you look at just broadly around governance and the changes around NIL and the College Sports Commission and everything that's happening there, what is it that you want to see as this sort of iterates moving forward from governance, whether it's the NCAA, college football playoff, whoever it is that is actually running this? I guess, what is it that you want to see broadly in that space as a coach?
That what we say is going to happen and what we say is going to be enforced is going to happen and be enforced. Because for all the talk out there about what's new stuff and this and that, if there's no teeth to it, it doesn't matter. It's just going to continue to be. And what has been implemented with rev share and the clearinghouse and all that, I see other conferences talking about the negatives about it already. Like, let's give this thing time to work and develop, and let's see what it is, and not all of a sudden say, well, it's not going to work and this and that. And I was in D.C. earlier this year talking about the need for national legislation, so I've been talking a lot about this, but something uniform that has some teeth to it, where it is what it's supposed to be. And if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's going to be enforced and there's going to be repercussions. And if you have that, and not trying to take anything away from the players, but let's just let this thing be what it's supposed to be and see what happens, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Coach, Brooks Austin with the On SI Network. When you coach an explosive playmaker like a Norris at the quarterback position, how do you find that fine line between saying, we want you to play within the system, we want you to play on time, and not limiting that playmaking ability that he obviously naturally has?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but that's what makes him so good is just that natural playmaking ability that he has. And I've never told him don't run or anything. Be smart, and he's a smart guy. He knows when to get down and try and avoid contact, and he'll be even better at that this year for sure. But the thing that I would like to see is a lot of his long plays last year from a running standpoint or throws were because one, protection broke down, or two, he maybe didn't get rid of the ball as quickly as he should have. So let's be better in 25 about when to get rid of the ball, but also with protection, so he's not getting hit by 4 people in the backfield against Clemson and then somehow comes out of it and runs for 40 yards down the field. As cool as that is to watch, I'd rather it be the other way. But it's one of those, you don't try and overcoach it. And not that I'm not a quarterback guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I was in college with Michael Vick, and I was at Oklahoma with Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts, and being around guys like that, those guys that are weapons with their feet. You want to have that as a part of your offense, but you also want to be smart too, especially in this league. With the defenses that we play week in, week out.
Coach, we'll stay on the same side, about halfway back on the far aisle.
Coach, Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Gamecocks. Saw a stat around the NFL draft that said you had 3 former 3-stars, all ranked outside the top 500 nationally as recruits. Turned those guys into 3 top 50 NFL draft picks. How does that story about development help make it easier to get more elite recruits and also be able to tell that story to recruits moving forward?
Yeah, great question. Are you free on official visit weekends next year? But no, that's something that we pride ourselves on in all seriousness, the development. When we ask high school prospects or transfers, what are you looking for in a school? I know there's more factors at play now than ever, but 90% of the time, the word development is going to come out of their mouth. Whether it be a transfer that comes here from another school, they want to be developed, or a high school senior that's coming here as a freshman, they want to be developed. And it's hard to argue that against our blueprint, if you will, because of what guys have done. Whether it be Nicky Manwari, who was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, then was a early second-round pick this year, or DQ Smith, who was a high school quarterback and is getting ready to be a 4-year starter for us and have a chance to go on to the next level. Or from a transfer standpoint, Demetrius Knight, who transferred in from another school or had been at 2 previous schools, and one of those previous schools called us and said, that guy can't play for you. And he ends up being an all-conference type guy and being the first pick, or first guy drafted from South Carolina. So credit the young men and what they're about from a character standpoint, but also give some credit to our program, the culture, the people in our program, the whole development aspect, the weight room with Luke Day, the training room with Clint Haggard, nutrition with Yemi Rodriguez, character development with Derek Moore. We've got a great thing from all across our building that's into developing the total player and total student athlete, and those guys are great examples of that as well. And we're not perfect. I understand that, but when you talk about the culture that we have in place, it's hard to argue with the results from their development standpoint.
Okay, we'll go straight down this middle aisle.
Hey Coach, Emily Grace McWhorter from The Next Round. How do you balance trying to turn the page on last season's success while still trying to emulate some of those elements that brought it?
Yeah, thanks for the question. You look back at last season, and there's a lot of momentum going into this season because of what we did last year. There's no question about it. And we have a lot of guys coming back. But I would say a few things, Emily. One, it's realizing that just because it happened last season doesn't mean it just automatically happens this year. I mentioned it upstairs with the electronic media, but there's plenty of examples of teams across the country every year in college football that they're getting pumped up all summer long, and then they go out week week one and get smacked in the face and never recover. I mean, that happens every year, and it's because just because it happened last year doesn't mean it happens this year. And for our team, it's making sure our guys realize all the work that went into 2024. It's going to take all that and even more for us to go where we want to go in 25, building on the things that we did last season without a doubt, but then looking back at the things that we didn't do well and making sure that we improve those, because, you know, people want to talk about the close losses that we had last season, a 2-point loss to Alabama, a 3-point loss to LSU. I realize that, but nobody wants to talk about the 4-point win against Old Dominion. And then we had a 3-point win against Clemson and a 4-point win against Missouri. So understanding that in this league, like, every Saturday is a battle, and it's a fine line between winning and losing, and understanding that we got to be doing every little detail, every little small thing, even though they're not small things, to get where we want to go next year or this year.
Okay, we're going to stay in that same section in front of me, about midway back.
Hi, Coach. Travis Brown, KBTX.com. To Ben's question, what is it, do you expect other coaches, other programs, when an enforcement comes down from the College Sports Commission, to actually do what's best for the sport as a whole and not just work in their own interest?
Yeah, I would hope so. I think every coach that's going to stand up here this week, and every coach across the country, would say they want their program to be successful, but I think we all want college football and college athletics to be successful without a doubt, and doing what's right for the betterment of the sport. And all I meant was, to Ben's question, was if there's rules in place that we all agree on, and someone doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing. This is 20 years ago with NCAA rules, or now with Rev Share and the clearinghouse and all that as well. There just needs to be some teeth to the enforcement. Otherwise, nothing's going to change, and we're going to be right back to where we were.
Okay, we'll take a question right here up front.
Hey, Coach. Dave Shoemate from the SEC Unfiltered channel. I used to work in college football recruiting personnel side. I think we actually briefly worked together at Georgia your first year. But in my opinion, we've ran some stats over on my end. Majority of the misses in college football, you tell me if you agree with me or not, are on the personal character, football character side of things. You guys have a retention rate that's much higher than a lot of other teams. Is there specifically something there? To Chris's point a little bit back there, he talked about development, but are y'all doing anything that you feel like is cutting edge on the front end of evaluating this kid's why? Is he a great teammate, or is it kind of just coming in and he's by osmosis blending into your culture already established?
No, it's a great question, and it's a lot of that for sure. You want to make sure that you're bringing the right people into your program, and it's harder than ever to do that. The amount of time that we as coaches are all out on the road recruiting, it's limited. And particularly for a transfer portal guy goes in the portal, and we may recruit a guy in high school for 3 years, guy goes in the transfer portal, you got about 6 hours to get him scheduled and get him on an official visit, because other people are. So doing as much research as you can on guys, and then probably in a lot of ways, and I'm talking portal specifically now, when a guy comes in on a visit, I've never coached in the NFL, but I think it's very much probably like a free agent visit in the NFL, where you're trying to find out as much about this guy while he's on your campus. It's recruiting, don't get me wrong, but it's making sure that he's a fit for you, and you're a fit for him, without a doubt. There's no question about it. I think it goes back. Guys have to choose to come to South Carolina or whatever school for the right reasons. And there's a money aspect involved now that hasn't been there before. I get that. But if that is the only reason, they're probably going to be in the portal. They're looking to go in the portal every single year. And we've got a lot of guys at Carolina. Our retention rate is strong. I appreciate you saying that. And we've got a lot of guys that came to South Carolina for the right reasons, because of the culture, because of the people that we have here. But it's hard. We've not done great on some guys as well that we've brought in that didn't work out. But I think if you just rely on bringing the right people into your program, being willing to walk away from guys that don't fit, and I rely on our players a lot too, that we've had guys on our team that have come to me after we've brought somebody in on a visit and have said, coach, like, he ain't going to fit what we're about. And we've walked away, from guys being willing to do that, because now more than ever in college football, I think culture is more important than it's ever been. And you screw that up, it can torpedo your entire system, or entire team pretty quickly.
Okay, we've got one final question over on our left-hand side, about 3/4 of the way back.
Hey, Shane. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. You consume this stuff. I mean, what's been said and written about Norris in the offseason? What's been your perspective on seeing those conversations?
I think Norris, it's exciting to see that. You're talking about a guy that is very humble, very hardworking, and has not changed. I mean, it is what it is. His life, his world has completely changed from last year at this time to right now because of what he did last season. But he's got a great family around him. He came back in January knowing the things that he needed to work on to get better at. He's done a great job of working hard and improving, all while, staying grounded and staying the same person. And I think, and we're going to be better around Norris this year as well on the offense. We'll have more depth and more competition at pretty much every position, I feel like, and that's going to help him. He doesn't have to be Superman for us. We just need him to continue to be the person that he is, the leader that he is, and the player that he is, and watch him continue to take this next step. But certainly it's different for him, but I think he's done a great job of handling it and just continuing to focus on the things that are important for sure.
Coach Beamer, thank you for your time.
Thank you. You guys have a fantastic week. Thank you.